Senior Fellow at the Norwegian Institute of International Affairs, and he joins us live from Oslo. Thank you so much for your time, Andrew. Do you think that successful coups in the region have inspired others, or is that too much of a simplistic view?
Thank you very much for having me. I think it's a little bit of a exaggerated hypothesis, if I would put it that way. It's not that simple. I think there have been root or problems that existed in the region for decades. Some of that linked to development, some of that linked to the rise of terrorist groups across West Africa. And I think that has played in as a role in the successful coups that we are seeing now emerging. I think what is key at the moment and what people are looking at is who or which country comes next. So, some are saying Niger, some are saying Togo. And so the key here for me really is what do all of these coup leaders have in common and what needs to be done by ECOWAS to diffuse the situation. Now, I would argue that a lot of the military training that has gone into these coups have focused too much on the military and not on the wider root causes of the conflict. And so we need to really reshift the emphasis away from just purely training, because I think training is crucial, but more as part of a stabilization package, which includes development, economic, rule of law, looking at justice for a lot of people who have experienced violence, but also, as I said, many other aspects as well. Historical divides between North and South as well need to be factored as part of these solutions, and not just look at the military solutions or military training as the solutions to deal with everything that you see or as a sort of final solution.
You mentioned security there. International governments are often quick to condemn coups, but then they just pick up where they left off and do business with whomever occupies the top office. Should Europe and the international community be doing more to support stability in these countries in the first place so that these coups don't happen?
Definitely, there's more of a role that should be played, but I would argue that this role really should be played by the regional bodies and, in this case, the African Union. These two bodies, the regional body being the African Union linked to, as it were, the continental body, and ECOWAS, should really be seen as the go-to organizations to engage. I think what we do see is these bilateral agreements, and we see this a lot with the US, France, and other countries who try to do these bilateral agreements. And yes, in theory, they're fine, but actually, they're no different from what was taking place in the 60s and 70s in Africa. They are going towards supporting a particular elite military force that oftentimes are the same ones that are in the coups or creating these coups. And so for me, the focus here needs to be on how do you embolden the regional body to be able to hold these countries or member states accountable, but also the African Union, because you need to be able to coordinate these efforts. And unfortunately, if you keep on having these bilateral agreements that, to a large extent, overpass the regional bodies in the African Union, then we're going to continue to see these issues emerging. Because ultimately,
you say that, but we have ECOWAS coming out with the sanctions, closing borders, but that hasn't deterred other countries from going ahead and conducting coups themselves. Are they a toothless tiger? Can they really hold anyone to account?
I think targeted sanctions do work, and I think for me the key here is the word targeted. They need to be focused on the core elites or people who have broken the agreements. And in this case, what we do see in Mali, for example, is that some of the sanctions that the ECOWAS has placed are beginning to take hold on people. So people are feeling the pinch, things are increasing. So I think if you move away from just purely sanctions and general sanctions to more targeted sanctions, then yes, they can be effective, but they need to be targeted to the right people. And when I mean right people, I mean those who are creating or those who are coming out and leading these coups.
Andrew Tchie, thank you very much for your time joining us live there from Oslo.